concentrated Angus in the hot seat next to me. We're off to Fraser Island, got the girls involved in this trip, which is good. So yeah, Elise is being my navvy for this one, even though you can't read a map. But behind us we got obviously Marco and his missus Christy and Angus. We still couldn't leave him at home. He's like a bad smell. He's got Mel next to him, so 3 vehicles. Angus in the 80. We're just heading up through, still in South Australia, but heading through Outback, New South Wales, which is always a good drive, especially with the amount of rain that the country's had lately. So should be a good change from civilization. Yeah, stay tuned, see what mischief we get up to. Well, we've got a slight issue, getting a little bit worse as we're driving up here. Sound like a bearing, a pulley bearing or something, so we think it might be alternator pulley bearing. We're just trying to get the belt off it and see if we can diagnose it a bit better. So, aircon, probably the least of all to really matter.
Elise won't be happy. She'll have to swap.
She's got
boys in this car.
I'm down with that. Yeah, we're just going to cut the belt because the aircon one is the very back pulley. Cut that belt, carry on.
No aircon for the trip, or at least a few days.
A billion extensions. Aircon no longer. The pulley on that, or the bearing of the pulley is absolutely shagged, so no more aircon, which you'll be stoked about because you're always cold. What you won't be happy about is this is my new aircon. A lot more window down for sure. So
yay.
At least we're still driving. Going through Cobar at the moment, so heading up to Burke. Chances of getting something in the next couple of days are pretty slim. Today being Sunday and tomorrow being a public holiday, so not a big concern of mine. Just happy that it's nothing more major. Otherwise it'd be a couple of days waiting for parts. So happy days.
We carry on with no more problems. And if Nick not having AC for the trip is our biggest problem, then we'll be just fine. Later that afternoon, we find ourselves a quiet little roadside camp where we can finally have a fire and sit back and enjoy the quiet outdoors. How good is finding a remote campsite that has flat ground, a bit of firewood and waterfront views? Stopping at places like this makes a long road trip so much worth it.
Great work. That's the key to success.
After a long drive through Outback New South Wales, we're finally back in Queensland and couldn't be happier. It's been cold and wet for most of the year, so we're all excited to be back in the Sunshine State and ready to hit the island. Well, time to drop some pressures, long drive over. About to jump on the barge.
We've got unfinished business since last time we were doing this, Marco.
We're treating this as our first visit to the island, as last time we were up this way, it was cut short due to a minor problem with the patrol. But finally, we've made it back. And we have a lot to cram into a short amount of time, so we head straight to the barge. K'gari, or Fraser Island, is well known for its four-wheel driving, dingoes and incredible lakes. But it's an island like no other, and needs to be respected by all that visit. With so many visitors each year, it's a constant balancing act between sharing its beauty for all to see and protecting it so it can thrive for thousands of years to come.
So we are officially on Fraser Island. A little bit nervous actually. Elise drove onto the barge and off the barge, so she did a good job of that. I'm a little bit nervous because last time I was on this stretch of beach, my fuel stop solenoid decided it just wanted to be slammed shut. And it's just an ordeal when you're on an island and you need to get onto a boat to get off of it. So I just hope nothing happens over here. Our plan is we are going to have a look at the Mahino shipwreck, probably do Eli Creek while we're over here on this side, on the eastern side, and then we are heading over to in a few days, heading over to the western side of the island, and then at the end we're spending a little bit of time in the middle as well. So hopefully we get a good look around the island. It should be, we've got 8 days in total, so yeah, it should be good fun.
There's a long list of things to see here, but we have learnt to slow down and enjoy the places we're in, rather than always chasing the next exciting spot. So our priority is to still stop, relax, and take in the moment. And if it means we can't see and do everything while we're here, then it's just a damn good reason to return next time. It's a casual drive up the beach for a couple of hours. A few detours inland, but on low tide, 80km speed limit is manageable for most of the way. We head straight to our campsite and spend the rest of the night celebrating our first night in paradise.
Bit of a big night last night. I think we're all pretty happy to be on the island. Pretty busy here. A lot of traffic yesterday, especially coming past Eli Creek. Drove straight to camp, got set up, chilled out, played some games. But yeah, last night had a few drinks. Wasn't super late night, but it starts getting light here at what feels like 4 a.m. So solid 3 or 4 hours sleep. Kick off the first night, you beauty. The good news is we're not going anywhere today. Well, we don't have to pack everything up. We'll go for a short drive down to the creek, go for a float, go up to the Mahino wreck, check that out. That's only a K up the road. What was the problem, Nick?
Probably the biggest problem on the trip so far, actually. Not happy about it. Angus and myself forgot to stack the fridge before we went to bed.
You guys are usually onto it.
Yeah, well, Mark, we stuffed up, right? We're not happy about it.
No. We all make mistakes after several special cans.
So we've been kind of monitoring the batteries a bit, haven't we?
Trying to work out how much we use on a standard night with the fridge fully loaded. Opening it quite often to get fresh beers. I think mine will use about 15%. Last night though, it was a bit of a bigger night.
Yeah.
And now we're loading in heaps of warm drinks. We'll see how much that gives us. I'm at 74%.
That's,
So
is that your biggest drop yet or not?
yeah. So that was all.
Still not.
We were going in and out a fair bit last night.
Did we have a couple?
We had a couple.
What about the fridge?
Off fridge.
Well, that was all day yesterday. Pretty much sitting out here half a day. So yeah, reasonably. But yeah, we'll see what we get now. 70.
I thought it'd be lower than that.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's good. Good news then.
Well, our first full day on Fraser camp last night at Mahino campsite. To be honest, we stuffed up and probably should have booked earlier. We only booked like a month ago, which we thought would have been heaps of time, but we had a real juggle trying to get what campsites where we sort of wanted, going on other people's recommendations. So Mahino is not amazing. It's just south of the Mahino wreck, funny enough. But yeah, it is what it is. So today, what are we doing, Elise?
We're heading to Eli Creek,
Doing the creek?
which is the creek you can just float down. Sounds very relaxing.
Pity it's not, like it's overcast. It's warm. It's 24 degrees, so it's warmer than what we're used to at the moment, so it's quite nice. But yeah, a bit of sunshine, might poke its head out later on. But yeah, Eli Creek first. I don't even know what we're doing actually. You got running the show.
And then we're going to the wreck. The
wreck.
shipwreck.
Okie dokie. Oh, well, let's do it.
Oh, she's not
After checking out Eli Creek, we keep moving as the crowd started to roll in and turn it into a water park. From here, we go and find the famous Mahino shipwreck, another point of interest as an old ship is slowly reclaimed by the ocean. Just one of many ships that have met their fate on the island over the years. What are we looking at here?
Okay, this is the Mahino in 1935. It was deemed not usable anymore, so they shipped it to Sydney. And it actually got an unseasonable winter cyclone happened, and it just got wrecked on the island.
wedding aboard.
Who was it?
Mr. Dudley and Beatrice.
Oh, right.
And Mr. Dudley lived on the ship whilst it was here in wreck.
Really?
Yes.
The ship was also used for a rocket mail experiment, so they would
Test the rockets.
yeah.
A very unwanted and unloved ship, sadly.
So we got Nick in the back here,
I'm
just drinking beers.
Just moral support with the beers.
Yep. And we've got the professional on the job here. He's just had a minor problem with getting charge into the auxiliary battery.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with the battery sensor for the auxiliary battery. It's not detecting that there's a battery there, so the charger's not charging. So the Go block has come to the rescue and is now going to be the stand-in battery, which we're going to charge from the main battery while driving, solar while we've stopped.
Trying to avoid having to get the panel out every time we stop to get charge into a battery. Today we just packed up from Mahino campground. Yeah, we just cruised up to Cathedral Beach. Need to fill a gas bottle. That was still wasn't full from last trip, so yeah, filled that up. Got a coffee. Actually, not too bad coffee. Got some expensive beers, and then we've headed back down a fraction. We're going to go back up to Waddy Point. We got 3 nights over here at Awinya Creek. 3 nights at Awinya Creek on the western side. So we'll go over there. Hopefully we can get a nice spot and do day trips out of there for a couple of days.
Does anyone know anything about this place?
I know a fair bit about it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah, so this is knife blade sand blow. Sand blows develop over thousands of years. Strong onshore winds erode and transport sand. Weak points in the shoreline dunes develop into blowouts. Sand blown inland from the coast spreads grain by grain.
Grain by grain?
Wow. Engulfing vegetation in its path. And here, at the knife blade sand blow, we see exactly that.
How big is it?
It is pretty big.
Oh right, that helps.
It is the largest sand blow on Fraser Island. It rises a little over 115 metres above the sea level, stretches more than 3.5 k's inland, as you can see from the coast to the edge of it. And it seems to advance up to 1 metre each year. So if we wait long enough, we will see it climb.
See it move.
Actually,
Grain by grain.
grain by grain, I can see it happening right now.
As we slowly make our way across the island, we take a turn off towards Lake Along, a freshwater lake where you can see turtles and fish swimming around your feet in an eerie tannin-soaked lake. This one's not one of the famous lakes, but still worth a stop just to break up the drive through the island. A short walk from the car park leads to steps right into the water.
It's refreshing. It's nice.
After a few shallow water crossings, it begins to open up as we leave the rainforest behind us. And for the first time in a while, we can actually cover some ground as we near the western beach.
And submerged.
Well, I've just started hearing a bit of a different noise out the back, so I thought I'd have a look, and my sway bar has inverted. Not the best setup for a lift this tall, probably, which is why it inverts easily. So I've got to back off the mounts and just realign it again and do the mounts back up again. Hopefully the rubber's not shagged, because that's going to be annoying if I can't run this rear sway bar any longer. So I'll just loosen it and have a look. So unfortunately when you flex it out, and this can happen with any vehicle, I think, when you flex it out, one side, when it straightens out again, it flexes, one side goes down, one side's up high, it goes like that. One link up, one down on the other side there. So that's what's happened, and it hasn't. Rarely will it recenter itself and both go down. And I only whacked this on before we left as a, just because I'm so top heavy, just give it some more road manners. Well, a bit annoying, but to be honest, I didn't not expect that to happen at some point. And if I was going on a full driving trip, I would have done a better job of sorting that out, but coming to the beach, I thought we'll be right. I think we've only got one little creek crossing. I reckon we're at a Wynyard Creek right now, just about to cross it, and then it's find a campsite. So we are pretty keen to get to that campsite, set up, and have a look at this blue water. Just around the corner, we find ourselves a great little spot, and we all jump straight into setting up camp. Christy and myself have the rooftop tent from Austrail, and also their 270-degree awning, both of which were supplied to try out and give some feedback on when using day to day. We're all loving the look of both the tent and the awning, but more importantly, they're both a breeze to use. We all spend the rest of the day in paradise, with perfect weather providing us a gorgeous sunset. And with multiple days to spend here, it's time to pull up the handbrake and get used to this island life.
Yes. Thank you. Oh, she's chili.
Chili can.